Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? China is taking control of America. The dream, the vision God gave me in 1994, which I did not want to accept, had China taking over America in the dream completely. Chinese soldiers were walking down the streets. People were being put in buses and shipped to internment camps, of which I was on a bus sent that way. The entire country was under a one world government. I want you to understand this. Now, I've got some information just came to me from Stephen of Oklahoma, and I've been reading different things. Ricardo sent me an email earlier today about this Kayakistan, this global economy conference going on, where they're talking about a one world economy. People are there from 113 nations of the world discussing how to fix the global economy. Did you realize in Greece right now, not only are they making a run on the banks, they quit paying taxes. The people of Greece, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in Greece have said no, and they're not paying taxes no more. They refuse. The EU's collapsing. But look at this. Here's 40. I can't go through them all. There's 45 signs that China's colonializing, taking over America. Here you go. Number one. Do you got coffee? Are you serious? Jesus saves. Oh, hey, don't miss my radio show today, okay, from 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just go to my website, www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. Go to the live streaming page, www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. Don't miss today's 3 hours. It's going to be powerful. Then I'm going to be on Vernon of Philadelphia's private conference room. So if you're at my show today, you'll be able to go with us all to Vernon's show for 1 hour. Philadelphia Vernon is going to be interviewing me. Blindsided. I don't know what he's coming at me with, but I'm ready. I'm ready. And then we're talking Bible prophecy. And then tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be a guest on the Blog Talk radio show God Discussions. And they have thousands of listeners. It should be a powerful show tonight. So big day today. Okay, and look at this. Number one reason that China's taking over America. It was recently announced that China's Dylan Wanda Group has bought U.S. movie theater chain AMC Entertainment. Oh, it's awful. For a whopping $2.6 billion. Now, I already reported on that earlier, a few days ago. This deal represents China's biggest corporate takeover of U.S. firm ever. So China's going to control what movies you watch here in America, as they bought the largest theater chain in America. Number two, earlier this month, the Federal Reserve, I did a video on this, announced that it has given approval for banks owned by the Chinese government. Now, this ain't a Chinese company. The Chinese government, the People's Republic of China. The Federal Reserve announced that it's given approval for the banks owned by Chinese government to buy stakes in U.S.-owned banks. The day they announced this, the day they did it, was the day Obama came forward publicly, came out of the closet, and said he was for gay marriage in America. And that was the big narrative. That was the big day that day. And some woman breastfeeding some 4-year-old kid on Time magazine. That's what everybody talked about that day. But secretly, the Federal Reserve was quietly allowing China to start taking over American banks. And that same day, they took over the U.S. Bank of Asia with 13 branches here in America. It has begun, folks. Now, number three. A few days ago, Reuters reported that China is now able to completely bypass Wall Street and purchase U.S. debt directly from the U.S. Treasury Department. Did you even know that happened? That's huge. And I knew about it a few days ago because one of the bankers contacted me and told me that this had just happened. Number four, a recent investigation by the United States Senate Committee on Armed Forces has found more than 1 million counterfeit Chinese parts in the Department of Defense supply chain. How in the world could we be this stupid? What? What? I don't want to get thrown out of this hotel, but I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing in the Defense Department? But remember, my dream of 1994, it was Chinese soldiers who were parading the streets of America, rounding up those freedom fighters, those democracy people, those Tea Party type people, those Christians, and throwing them into buses, shipping us to FEMA camps or internment camps. In my dream, it wasn't a FEMA. It didn't say FEMA. They kept saying internment camp. All right. Number 5, after being bailed out by the U.S. taxpayers, good old General Motors is currently involved in 11 joint ventures with companies owned by the Chinese government. Not Chinese companies. There's a big difference. Let's say Yo Wang Shang Chinese restaurant owned by Lu Sao wants to do something. That's a Chinese company maybe working with you. But we're not talking about a Chinese company. We're talking about General Motors doing 11 joint ventures, mergers and acquisitions with the Chinese government, the People's Republic of Chinese Communist China. Number 6, Chinese company known as Sino Michigan Properties. I reported on this. I did a video on this already. Has purchased 200 acres of land near the town of Milan, Michigan. The goal is to build a China city with an artificial lakes, a Chinese cultural center, hundreds of housing units for Chinese citizens. Not American citizens. Not Chinese American citizens. Chinese citizens. Shipping them from Beijing to Michigan. They'll have their own city. It won't be owned by Michigan. It will not be part of Michigan. It will be the People's Republic of China, their own little town, sitting in Michigan. What's going on? Number 7, as I reported recently, corporations controlled by the Chinese government have been rapidly buying up U.S. oil and gas deposits worth billions of dollars. Guys, I told you guys about that. I did a YouTube video on that as well. Number 8, Chinese investors have been gobbling up real estate all over New York City. The following is from a recent Forbes article. According to the recent report in the New York Times, investors from China are snapping up luxury apartments and are planning to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on commercial residential projects like the Atlantic Yards in Brooklyn. Chinese companies also have signed major leases at the Empire State Building and at the One World Trade Center. That's that new one, that brand new trade center we just built. After getting bombed by the radical Islamic terrorists, we're now going to sell some of the precious space to the Chinese government. Well, in that case, I should take that back. Chinese companies. There's a difference. Chinese companies, one thing. Chinese government, why would you sell anything to the Chinese government? We don't even want to sell any of our private space to the American government. We definitely don't want to sell to the Chinese government. Oh. And number 10. Number 9, there's more deals going on. Okay. I can't. I'm too frustrated right now. Are you saved? What I'm trying to tell you is the mark of the beast is coming. Watch my vision of 1994. Paul Begley's vision of 1994, part 1 and part 2. How God showed me in 1994 of a day coming when America would no longer be America on its own, but will be controlled by the communist China. I believe that probably the leader, the Antichrist, must be coming out of a communist nation, not necessarily China, but a communist leader, because it's Antichrist. Communism's always been Antichrist. So is Sharia law. So the radical Islamic jihadists will probably be the false prophet, and communism will be the one world government with a one world currency. Are you saved? We're running out of time, people. It's coming faster than I even imagined. give your life to Jesus Christ. Call upon the name of the Lord. I want to pray with you. Send me a personal message. I want to be saved. I want to be saved. I want to be saved.